I think we created more than enough to put the game to bed and didn't. So I'm glad we're doing this therapy session this morning. I could do with this.
I'm always here to help you, Josh.
Yeah, all the time, mate. Might have a little go on a peloton after this as well. Just to, yeah, I think we created more than enough to put the game away and didn't. And at the opposite end, they scored 2 of their first 3 shots, which is very annoying, obviously. But sometimes you have days like this, to be fair, and a lot of the times you lose these games. So the fact that we drew, I suppose, isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's just so annoying. You can tell I'm a little bit like, you know, one of them where I feel like we've missed an opportunity a little bit there. I thought we were going to win this game, and Villa had a fair few injuries. Emery comes out and says he doesn't want to play this game at this point of the season. He thought it could have been later. You know, we take a lead. It's the first time all season where we took a lead in the Premier League and not gone on to win.
Is that right?
Yeah. At 2-2, there's an obvious sitter which I'm sure we'll get on, and it gets missed. Later in the game, I think there's like a one-on-one with Emi Martinez, who's like 40 yards from his goal. Again, that doesn't come to anything. So, just a really annoying game. But you do have them over the course of the season, and I suppose sometimes you lose them, and we very nearly did at the very end as well. So, I don't know, pros and cons.
I mean, if they'd have lost it, then, you know, I don't think I'd be able to do any therapy sessions. I'd be just wandering the streets, Ali, trying to record a midweek extra that way. Man on his own by the Mersey, but we didn't. But it doesn't feel like we're as clinical as we were earlier in the season, and that's the thing for me. And you know, there's the big chances we create in this game, but we're actually creating fairly decent chances throughout it. I thought we started well, and there's, you know, we're working players into decent positions, and we're just not quite getting there. And it's a frustrating one for me when you sort of watch them, because I think the main thing I want to see from Liverpool, especially away from home, is getting on top, and we did it. And so you feel like we're doing the hard part. You know, I'm watching the game, agree with Josh, thinking, we're going to win this one because we're at it today. We're playing well, we're pulling them around. They didn't look sort of quite there. Obviously, they've got new players, you know, coming in and things like that. It did feel to me a good time to play them. I agree with Unai Emery on that. And so it did feel like it was all set up there for win, and then when the chances come and chances go, and then we get gifted the first goal but can't make the most of it. What do you think, from an attacking point of view, what do you think is not quite clicking for Liverpool at the moment, or not quite going right for Liverpool?
It's difficult to put a specific sort of finger on it. And I sort of sat there last night after the game and sort of racked my brain. I don't know whether we've started to do a bit more consistent rotation. I don't know whether rotation's starting to come into it. Obviously, Jones playing off the left last night was different to what we're used to. I just think we were always going to go through, what I wouldn't say a trough, but a dip in the season where the clinical edge we had would have dropped off slightly. But I don't think we're enjoying it as much at this point in the season, where we could really do with, like you said last night, the confidence we had going into that fixture. I mean, Tom Fahey put on Twitter before that their defensive fragility meant that Emery last night seemed to go all out attack. And by the look of the first 10 minutes, they are so defensively fragile that you thought, okay, we're going to be on top here, and we're going to sort of put a stamp and an authority on this game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem. Like you said, we created good chances, but the clinical edge seems to be missing. And I don't know whether it's a case of confidence in certain players. Obviously, we know in one player it's confidence, and the manager's just come out in the press conference and said he was particularly annoyed with Nunez because he didn't impact the game after he'd made that initial miss. And after that, then you're constantly sort of on the back foot with him because he's not impacting game. And then we started to sort of try and utilise Mo Salah a bit more in the last 10 or 15 minutes, but Mo Salah can only do so much, and he did a lot in that game as it is. So I don't know whether the clinical edge is down to rotation, that we're obviously putting Jota back in, whether Diaz is now being rotated, Gakpo's obviously been injured. But I think whatever does need to happen, it needs to happen fast again, because these games are coming thick and fast. So, yeah, frustrating. I don't deem it as a worry, but I think it needs to be something that it should be rectified pretty quickly.
Okay, let's do the slot on Nunez quotes, then Ali's just mentioned it. He says, Mike, I can accept every miss, especially from a player who scored 2 very important goals for Brentford. I would prefer him to score, but the weird chance says it all. I can accept it, but what was harder was his behaviour after that chance. He got too much in his head and he wasn't the usual Darwin that works his backside off. I haven't heard him say backside, but I'd like to.
He didn't say backside.
Did he say arse?
He said arse.
Because well, the Echo, well, come on, Echo, you can say arse. What's the matter with you? Come on. Woke nonsense. Anyway, he was too disappointed after missing it, and that's why he was a fraction short. It's always best to have Endo's mindset that he keeps going and is always ready. Not many can do this. It's not about the chance, it's the 20 minutes after. I want to talk to Darwin about. It is worth reading the full quote because they've been sort of shortened to make it seem harsher than what I think it is when you read when you read them out in full. I think as well, we need to remember he's not talking in his first language, so when he says words like behaviour, it might not necessarily be the way I would sort of use that. Behaviour almost sounds like he was acting out. Do you know what I mean? I think he means it means more demeanour and you know, how he was, rather than sort of, you know, bad behaviour, if you like. I think that's what we associate it with. But it's interesting that he is sort of picked up on it and he is sort of said that, because obviously I did the post-match audio show and we were pretty heavy on that. You know, any striker can miss a chance. Yeah, Darwin misses more than he probably should, but any striker can miss that. But it's more what comes after that worries you more, really, because, you know, elite forwards just put it out the head and he just can't seem to.
Yeah, I think this is the thing with Nunez, isn't it? We're all dragged back in by Brentford, Forest and Newcastle, other winning goals gone by, and then once he goes on runs and does effective things in the team. But I don't think there was a Liverpool player out there, I meant to say fan there, but player, you know, a Freudian slip. I don't think there was a player or fan that thought, oh, he's missed that one, but he'll take the next one, because you just knew it was going to impact him a little bit. And I think there's one where he tries to play a ball into Szoboszlai, doesn't run him behind, and then there's the school of thought of, well, Nunez hasn't played the right ball, which I thought at first, but then when you look back, you think maybe Szoboszlai should just run him behind. And then again on the
Do you not think if he's just more confident, he just finds a way to shoot, though?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like he's sort of desperate to pass. Do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking, like, just shift it and shoot, and it might take a deflection and go in.
Go in, yeah. It is a concern, and as you said about the behaviour thing, it probably sort of means demeanour or attitude or whatever. It's just we've been. I imagine, look, we've not played anywhere near the same level, but you've all been there when you've missed a chance and you've got, oh, if only I'd have just done this, and then
I've never missed a chance.
The elite thing to do is just go, yeah, sound. I'll take the next one, and not sort of try and get out of the way of getting in the next one's path, if you get me.